In addition to your academic activities, you, I'm sure, observed every environment where you were. And what can Ethiopia, what can Oromia, what can Adama get from that kind of experience?
Sure, sure. That's a very interesting question, actually. You know, in India, especially the university I studied, students are hardworking, really. You know, I saw students, you know, sitting under those trees and then reading 24 hours something, you know, because they feel that if they are not going to work hard, they will not succeed. So, you know, most of the things there are system based, right? So system work is there. If you want to get some service, if you go to some universities, some university departments, you know, so most of the things are system based, and then they don't have to know who you are, right? So they only know, okay, you are a student. They know what type of service you are going to gain from them. Then they will provide you that. So India, especially for students, what I like to tell them is, you know, being a student, you have to work hard, right? So working hard pays. If you work hard, you can get good grade, and also you can gain better knowledge, right?
Reward follows.
Yeah, so India is really a country of where 1.something billion. Actually, it is the second
populous nation on earth.
Next to
China.
China, right? So what I learned from there is they live in harmony, unity, coexistence, right? And even students, they are from different background, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, whatever. There are different languages, okay, different culture, but still they share one quality. You know, they all love India. So I appreciate that. So everybody say, I'm an Indian, and then they love their culture, especially India is known for, you know, nurturing their own traditions, right? Their clothing,
if the
food,
colonies even couldn't break that.
Yeah, didn't break that culture. So maintaining this indigenous culture is something that I learned from them. They respect each other, really. They respect their culture, they respect their teachers, they respect their profession. And then, yeah, most of the things, you know, accessibility to everything that you want to know is very simple, right? So these are some of the things that I really want to tell you about my experience in India. The other point is, you know, in the university I studied my PhD, you know, there are some 28 nations and nationalities studying in Andhra University.
Andhra University?
Yeah. Afghanistan, Iraq,
Ethiopia,
Nepal,
this and that.
Yeah, right. Even Africans, many Africans are there. So I worked actually very closely with those international students because I was participating in different extracurricular activities, water rappelling projects, even those I was coordinating International Students Day, Ethiopian Students Day. So even I worked as actually as a representative of Ethiopian students at Andhra University. Right?
Wow.
So I love that part. I was quite busy, making myself busy, you know, especially that area. The city is called Visakhapatnam. We call it Vizag. It's a beautiful city, and there is a beach. It's only some 2-3 minutes walk
from ocean.
From my dormitory, right?
All right.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close. So every morning, you know, I
that
do
morning
physical
breathe.
exercise. Yeah.
All right.
You know, I especially the people out there, they do continuously these physical exercises,
which we Ethiopians lack.
Yeah, right. So every morning, you know, the road is quite busy because even the older people,
they always exercise.
Yeah, elders, you know, they hold their stick and then they walk. You know, so every morning, actually sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so you will learn really the quality of life there, and also the benefit of doing physical exercise, right? So and especially the city is beautiful, And then there are different places that you can entertain yourself. But most of the time, in my case, I spend reading, writing, and those kinds of things.
And their towns, their cities are with green areas and this and that,
green
yeah?
areas and beautiful, you know.
But in our cities, we know that.
Sure,
what's going on?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, what's the title of your dissertation, your research?
Yeah, actually, it says an investigation of the interface between effective communication skills and leadership skills of Ethiopian public universities.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a kind of
some for 6 universities.
Yeah.
Some for 6 universities, probably public universities are in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
From this, I understand that communication matters.
Definitely.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
What's communication for you?
Actually, communication is an exchange of information, ideas, feelings, thoughts between the sender and the receiver most of the time. So communication is an act of, you know, making common understanding, shared understanding. So most of the time, you know, if there is a communication failure, there will be misunderstanding, and then it may lead to even conflict.
So the encoding should be decoded properly.
Right. So it should
I'm sure I'll read your dissertation, and because the recommendations are too important. I'm sure. Are you married, by the way? Are you married?
Yeah, actually, I'm married, and then I'm a father of 2 sons.
Oh, 2 sons, no daughter yet. Is there names? Because this is part of your history, by the way. That's why I'm talking.
Yeah, the first is called Kenna.
Kenna, gift.
Yeah,
all
gift.
Right, all right.
I feel that God gave me this handsome
boy, okay, the kid.
And the second one is called Milky, right?
Milky, success again.
Success again.
Actually, the namesake of my son, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the namesake of my son.
I deliberately called him Milky because I feel that when I think about my sons, okay, they are source of my pleasure, right? And then they are the meaning of my even survival. So I really love them, and then I also work hard to create a better world for them, right? Not only for Kenna and Milky, but for the people
for
of
many Kennas,
yeah, right.
The coming generation as well.
Yeah. So I don't want them to pass through the challenges I went through, right? So
we studied barefooted, they should not.
They should not.
We traveled long distance, and they should not.
They should not.
That's what you're telling me. By the way, these days, including university students, many students lack the skill of speaking in English or good command of English language. What do you advise them?
Yeah, actually, being a teacher, I realized that there is a difficulty of understanding English language, okay? As you know, English is the language of science and technology. In our case, it is a medium of instruction. It means the teaching and learning process, they take place through this English language. So it's language of science, language of technology, language of research, language of entertainment.
It's becoming language of space even. Yeah. Even language of space on it now.
Yeah, see? So the thing is this, okay? It is all about determination, decision, and taking action, right? So there is nothing difficult or nothing simple, but your mind makes it simple or difficult, okay? So the point is students have to practice, right? And then teachers should also help students to practice English, especially during lower grades. Quality teachers actually produce quality students, right? So students have to take notes when teachers are teaching, and also they have to practice continuously. They don't have to feel that this feeling of I'm going to make a mistake and then someone is going to laugh at me. Most of the time, you know, students, they have that kind of mentality.
Sure.
They are afraid making mistakes, okay? They are afraid making mistakes. So, but without making mistakes, how can you learn something new?
You cannot learn.
You cannot learn, okay? So I advise them to practice because English language, especially in our case, has a direct impact on academic achievements. Poor English language or poor English backgrounds, they lead to poor academic achievements. Because they cannot read books, they cannot refer.
Even if they read, they don't understand it.
They don't understand, okay? And also, the medium is English. there is no problem. For example, if our local languages are language of science and technology, and then if we are taking all the courses, language of innovation, if we are taking all those courses in our language, there is no need to worry, right? But the reality is, even if our language is language of science and technology, we cannot communicate with the global world, right? So there are dominant languages, English for different reasons, as you know. For some political or economic reasons, it is becoming, a neutral language these days.
Yep.
Right? So it dominated the world, and then nobody says, okay, this and that. So if you want to succeed in life, right? If you want to succeed in life, it's advised to have a better command of English language, right? So I advise students, to practice, to take time, and then especially to convince themselves that knowing any language, okay, if possible, being a multilingual is quite helpful, right? So you can easily communicate with someone who doesn't know your local language. So practice makes perfect. That is the principle, okay? So there is no need to afraid that I'm going to make a mistake, or that is not the case. The principle is this causality principle. Hard work is the cause and success is the effect, okay? Like I said, English language and quality of education has a direct relationship. Some students who have a better understanding, good background of English language, they really score good grades, right? These are the things. And also it has its own impact on quality of education, right? Quality of education. So these are the things that I like to
I'm sure about
students.
education. We'll talk some other days about education quality in Ethiopia, not only in English, because you specialized in English languages. That's why I asked you this way. How many languages do you speak? 3 or?
3 actually.
Afan Oromo, Amharic,
Afan Oromo, Amharic, and
English.
English.
And no other languages you learned it in India, but did you get that opportunity to?
Oh yeah, in fact, I can at least
communicate a little bit for introductory part of this.
Definitely. Right.
Wow, that's wonderful.
I can say good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah,
so I like it
that's key point.
Sure.
Thinking about peace is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
By the way, the final question that I would ask you about is, what do you advise again? This is almost not your. I need a comment about social media use of students. What can you tell them, and so that we can conclude our interview?
Sure. By the way, I don't advise students to waste their time on social media, honestly speaking, because it distracts their attention, it wastes their time, right? So because social media, if you are not wise enough, right? If you are not wise enough, it may kill you, right? It means even research is showing that most students who waste their time on social media, they have poor academic achievements because they cannot concentrate, right? They cannot concentrate. The other point is they may make wrong judgments based on wrong information.
What they consume.
Yeah. So even if they are going to use social media, they have to filter, right? They have to filter the information that they are going to get from social media, whether it is credible or not, okay? Whether it is from some source that can be trusted, right? So at the beginning, I don't advise students to waste their time on social media, but if it is mandatory, they can use it for some constructive purposes. For example, exchanging information, or maybe gaining some information when posted by some scholars. They can do that. So they have to be selective, right? They have to be selective enough to use social media, and also they don't have to waste their time, because in most of the cases, especially in countries like Ethiopia and Africa, okay, in developing countries, I didn't see that people are using social media in most of the cases for constructive purposes. I'm not generalizing, but students have to be selective enough, and also they have to focus on their study. They have to be focused enough. Otherwise, it will even waste their time. Most of the time, they can be addicted. People are addicted to different things, and then even social media is one aspect where students, even they waste their time. They don't do their homeworks, but they are sitting down and then scrolling and then checking different sources. So really, I don't advise students. Even in India, like I told you, most students, they don't use this social media. Even they don't have time. That is a principle, right? Even sharing or liking some information that provokes and then that makes you to make wrong decisions. It causes
recently, the Ethiopian House of People's Representatives approved the hate speech and disinformation prevention law, and probably that would be good news for those genuine social media users. Yeah. But those filled with, addicted with hate speeches will be accountable, I think.
There is no need, actually. We have to be responsible, right?
Yeah, it should be in our mind.
We have to create a safe world, right? So that is the point. We don't have to provoke someone, we don't have to push someone.
To cause religious conflicts and this and that. Thank you so much.